Managing your money can be tough, but what if your paycheck doesn't arrive the same way every time? For many of us, getting paid isn't as simple as a fixed amount on the same day each month. Maybe you get paid weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, or even rely on commissions or bonuses. It can feel like a roller coaster trying to budget when your income is fluctuating. In today's episode, we are going to dive into some strategies that will help you take control of your money no matter when or how your paycheck arrives. If you're ready to feel confident with your finances, no matter the pay cycle, keep listening. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, and thanks for joining me today as we continue to work to improve the one thing that we can control, ourselves. Here at the Financial Mirror, it is not about the numbers and spreadsheets alone, but about transforming and educating you on money so that you can make smarter financial decisions. If this is the first time you are joining in, don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube to be notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you are listening to this on Rumble, don't forget to follow and like the video. And if you're on any podcast platform of your choice, don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, both those 5-star reviews are appreciated. So today we are going to talk about income. Not so much how to get more of it, but more or less how to manage it when it's coming in at different times. Because let's face it, when your paycheck isn't predictable, your stress level probably is. We've all been there. We're scrambling to make a rent or a mortgage payment or an electric bill because payday feels like hide and seek with the calendar. Sometimes it's just sneaking up on us and popping out of nowhere. The question is, how do we get off of this roller coaster? And today, I want to cover just that. It is so easy to fall into a trap of feeling like you're overwhelmed because of the fact that you are living paycheck to paycheck. You're not very sure when your money's going to come in. You're not very sure when it's going to hit your account, or maybe all of your bills seem to come in all at the same time. So don't worry, today we're going to cover that because there are many common struggles out there. And hopefully by the end of this episode, if any of those are you, that we can have an answer that you can take and apply to your budget and your personal finance today, whether it's not having enough cash on hand for bills or using credit cards to fill those gaps in between paychecks only to end up in debt, not being able to pay those off in time, or difficulty saving because you just have no leftover money. Today's episode is for you. All of those things cause stress, they cause anxiety, and they even sometimes can cause guilt because you just are not feeling like you're able to control your personal finances. But I'm telling you, regardless of the pay cycle, I want to preface this whole episode by saying this has nothing to do, This is not about how to get better at budgeting. Okay. This episode is not so much about budgeting. I'm going to hit some very, very key components, but this episode is about how can you best plan or apply your budget to fluctuating income, to varying pay cycles. That's what today's about. Not so much about how to, quote unquote budget, but more or less when you're planning for income, which is something that a lot of people struggle with because they're like, well, does this income go to October or does this go to November? Was this September income or is this October? We're going to get all that answered today. So there's one thing, no matter how often you get paid, the principles of budgeting are not going to change. So go look at a previous episode if you have any questions about budgeting. But today, the trick is to how to apply the budget when your income is constantly moving, constantly dancing around on you, okay? So let's first start out with understanding the basics of budgeting for any pay cycle, okay? And this is where I'm just going to hit on some key components of budgeting, but not so much how to set up your categories, okay? Because budgeting is like building a house. It's no matter what your house looks like, the foundation stays the same. whether you get paid weekly, whether you get paid bi-weekly, monthly, or randomly, like you're commission-based or something, a strong budget is going to be your foundation. So base budgeting, no matter how often you get paid, you've got to start with a monthly budget, because your expenses, more than likely, your set expenses, let's say, are not going to change. They're not going to change. Your things like those fixed expenses, those rents, those utilities, the food, your transportation costs, things like that tend to be pretty static, with very, very slight deviations occasionally, but more or less they are pretty static. The first thing you need to do whenever you're doing any type of budgeting is you need to know how much those things cost. Okay, so list those out, be flexible on the things like entertainment, dining out, savings, things like that. Those type of things can fluctuate, but we've got to first prioritize on what keeps the lights on. We have to prioritize on what must be paid, and that is where we start when we just think base budgeting. We have to think essentials, document those, understand how much that is, because that's base. That's just us level setting on what is mandated in every single budget. Now, whether your income fluctuates or it stays the same, the key is knowing how much money you need every month to cover your essentials. Okay, you can look at past data points. You can look at the last 3 to 6 months. It's a good starting point, but you need to figure out what is your average income and those average expenses. Okay, so like I said, we talked about the base budgeting. We talked about listing those, those essential items, those mandatory items out first. But the next part is, if you have any type of record of how much you've made over the last 3 months or 6 months and how much you made in each month, that is going to be crucial to coming up with this second part, which is you need to know what your average income is. It's a good starting point. If you get paid regardless of cycle, you need to know how much are you bringing in each month. So if you get paid every 2 weeks, go look at the last 3 months of paychecks that had a post date of that month and calculate it. See what your average is per month. If you're using something like YNAB, like You Need a Budget, the app, or you're using Rocket Money, or using Quick and Simplify, or Every Dollar, or whatever for your budgeting, those you could pull up, click income, and you could probably see kind of what your 3 to 6 month average is. But the key is you need to first figure out what that average income is. Next thing that we want to do before we ever get into how to budget the different pay cycles is you need to recognize what are your due dates. So kind of hitting 3 points real quick when it comes to base budgeting. The first thing, like I said, starting out was just list out your expenses, understand what it costs for you to live. Second thing is figure out what your average income is so you can kind of get that baseline budget, right? Like income minus expenses. Third thing is you need to recognize those due dates. You need to figure out when are all of your bills due. All those essential items that are every month, I've got to pay this. When are they due? And that's for a key, very crucial reason that we're doing that. Because if everything in your budget is falling into your lap at the exact same time every month, like all of my bills are from the 1st to the 10th or something of that nature, that is much harder to manage than if you have a couple of bills at the front half and a couple of bills at the back half. Now, saying that to say there are some bills you cannot change their due date. Like there's like billing cycles, and just your billing cycle just happens to fall on that date, and the company's not going to change it. However, you need to call creditors, call landlords, call utility companies, call creditors, call whoever, right? Like if you have like a cell phone bill, call them, call everybody, call the people that you have a static and running bill with, and see if you can change a few of their due dates to another part of the month. So if everything's front loaded right now, find a few that'll change it to the back half just to spread out those expenses across the month. Now, if you can't, It's not the end of the world. There's a couple of other things that we can do to help alleviate that now. But those are the three things just for us to level set, right? We know our average income. We know our average amount of expenses we're spending each month. And we've checked and found our due dates. And everything in there is spaced out across the month, whether it's the front half, whether it's the back half. We've kind of pulled them apart and said, let's have a few on the front and a few on the back. Now, think of it like this. If you can make sure all of your must-pay bills are covered, you can handle the rest, right? So if you're really tired of feeling like payday's the finish line, the real solution is to make it feel more like a pit stop. Like, yep, I got everything covered. I'm good. I've got everything planned for. I know how much I'm going to make on average. I feel solid about how much I'm going to have this month. I know how much my expenses are going to be. I'm golden, right? Just quick little introduction there, but just wanted to level set because this is crucial to the rest of this episode. Now, into the meat of the episode is budgeting for different pay cycles, because if we break these down, it's important that, and I'm going to hit, most of the popular ones. If you get paid in this weird, non-standard manner, this episode might not help so much. Maybe you can mix a couple of these to figure yours out. But what I want to do today is I want to break down everyone's paycheck rhythm, because it's different. Whether your payday is every week, every other week, or it just comes like a surprise gift once a month, there's a way to budget for it. And I hear people all the time say, well, I don't know how to budget because I get paid blank, fill in the blank, right? I want to cover that today. I want to cover that today with all the various more common pay structures, starting with being paid weekly. This is pretty common. It's much more common than I used to think it was, but working with clients over the years, being paid weekly is not as abnormal as I once thought it was. But with being paid weekly, it's kind of advantageous, right? It's actually very advantageous. You get paid more often, you just don't get paid as much, right? That's where moving due dates around is super helpful. But it's important that you understand where those bills are, because you can break your bills into smaller chunks. For example, like if rent is $800 a month and you get paid, every week, you may be able to pay, work with your realtor, your whoever your realtor is, or your whatever company you're renting from, and say, hey, I'm going to pay you $400 the first week and $400 the second week, right? Maybe they'll let you do that. But little things like that you can kind of break your payments apart, and that allows for some benefit with being paid weekly. Another thing about being paid weekly that is very advantageous is the fact that if it's a 5-week month, you're budgeting for 5 weeks, right? That's not available to everyone else. But when you're getting paid weekly, if there's 5 weeks in the month, you're getting paid 5 times. If there's 4 weeks in the month, you're getting paid 4 times, right? So you have that ability that allows for a much more simple way to look at your budget from a monthly view, which is how we want to do it. We want all of these to look at your money from a monthly view, because of the fact your bills are probably due monthly, right? A majority of your bills are due monthly, minus your car insurance that might be due every 6 months. For the most part, everything's due monthly. So a couple strategies you can do is, first off, figure out how you can space those bills out, as we kind of alluded to at the very beginning, so that your weekly paychecks will add up and enough will be available each payday to cover the bills necessary for the upcoming week. Okay. If it's the last week, realistically, those are going to be paying your first week bills in your month, right? So just kind of breaking those out so that it works, but that's a really good option. Another strategy for those that are paid weekly is to pay yourself a portion of your bills, right? So how can that look? Well, you could say, well, I'm going to pay a little bit of the rent. I'm going to pay a little bit of the utilities, and I'm going to pay enough by the pay due date that it's paid at that point, right? That's another option. If you can't move things around, that may be the better option. But the key to making being paid weekly work is proper planning of your bills, right? Because you have a anticipated amount that you're going to get paid each week, and you need to save that up. You see what I'm saying? So if you've got no bills due the first week, that means I need to kind of sit on what I make that first week because I've got a lot of bills coming due the second week. So I'm going to make sure I'm not spending too much the first week to get to the second week so I have enough to maintain, right? I'm going to get to some other things at the very end that kind of apply to all of these that'll make that a little easier. But that's the first thing, is being paid weekly is just make sure that you are spacing out those bills across the month, maybe paying portions of the bill throughout the month to help kind of cover those, and create some consistency in how you are setting aside the weekly amounts to be able to cover the bills in the coming month. Now, bi-weekly. So this is my every Friday, every other Friday, folks, right? This is probably the most common way people get paid nowadays. You get 2 regular paychecks most months. Sometimes you'll get 3 paychecks in a month, right? Not super common, but most of the time you get that maybe twice a year, right? That you'll get 3 paychecks instead of 2. Now, the key to this, and this is easier to manage than weekly for the fact that you are getting larger sums of money that allows your accounts to be sitting a little heftier at times. However, it's not any easier or harder in reality, right? Because your budget is based on what you receive that month. This is the hardest part for people that are paid bi-weekly to really, really, really like part of it or accept, right? So I tell people, if you're paid every 2 weeks, and your paycheck hits on, like, say, the 25th of the month, and let's say all of your bills are paid and it's the 25th of the month, most people would say, well, this is really money I'm going to use in the next month, right? So if I got paid on October the 25th, and all my bills were paid, I could say, well, this is really money I'm going to be using in November. So let this be November income. No. Let's make it easy. If you earn it in this month, apply it to this month. Okay. If you earn it in this month, apply it to this month. Keep that in your mind. If you earn it in the month, apply it to the month. It just makes it easier. It overcomplicates it when you're kind of stacking or compounding your income into particular months based off of when you projected that money would be used. Plan for it this month. Look at your pay scale or your pay schedule. Circle those that are like, okay, I'm going to put these in this month's budget. I'm going to put these in this month's budget. It only helps out, right? Set up automatic bill payments. It's a lot easier with being paid bi-weekly versus weekly, for the simple fact of the quantity of money that's in those bi-weekly checks is twice as much. So it's a little easier to rely on that. Like I said, on the weekly, splitting them up, maybe paying 50% of the bill this week and 50% the next week can make it helpful. With bi-weekly, that's not as much needed. So set up those automatic bill payments. But the biggest thing the biggest strategy for bi-weekly is don't overcomplicate it. Put your paychecks in the month they're received. Okay. Some months are going to have an extra paycheck. Instead of treating that like bonus money, think ahead. If you don't have a nice buffer in your checking account, get a nice buffer in your checking account. Let that extra paycheck be a nice buffer. Don't plan for it, right? Budget every single month like you're only going to earn 2 paychecks, right? And then let that third paycheck go straight to savings, go straight to debt, right? Like those are just little strategies you can do because of that free paycheck, right? You get roughly 2 of them a year. So use them for that. So that's just another little strategy for my bi-weekly folks. If you get paid every 1st and 15th, I know the federal jobs are on like a 1st and 15th, like Department of Defense, things like that are all 1st and 15th. These are very, very predictable, right? Because I'm getting paid on the 1st and the 15th. But because of that, it could span into some weird areas, right? Like maybe it processes, you got paid on the 15th, but don't process till the 17th because of how the dates fell or something. Like it's really weird. I got it. but it's predictable. And here's what I tell people with 1st and 15th, folks: treat it like biweekly. If the money is earned for that month's first, it goes in that month. If it's earned for that month's 15th, it goes in that month, right? Pretty straightforward. Biggest thing I can tell you for 1st and 15th, folks, is it is almost crucial for you to have your bills split across the month. Okay, like first half and second half. You can use a little bit of the first month or the first paycheck to get through, to pay some bills and live on. You can use the second paycheck, the 15th paycheck, to get through and pay your other bills. But push those due dates. That's the biggest strategy for 1st and 15th, is push those due dates and spread them out across the month. Build a little cushion. But the biggest thing is that you need to make sure that if all of your bills are around the same time, that you change that, because that is one of the biggest heartaches for people that are on a 1st and 15th paycheck, is that they do feel like they live paycheck to paycheck, because if all of their bills are on like one or the other side of the month, they will exhaust their paycheck and literally feel like they're living on dimes until the next one hits. And then the next one hits, and they may splurge a little bit, right? Because they've been living on dimes. They felt homeless for a little while, and now they're splurging, and it kind of gets them feeling tight. Like everything just feels tight now, like just stretched out. So space it out. Just a great way to do it. Now, for my monthly folks, man, if you get paid monthly, you have, obviously we've walked through all of these types, and monthly is, well, you're budgeting for a month. So it is the easiest to manage, right? It is hands down the easiest to manage. You literally are handed all of the money you're going to make this month, and all you need to do is just manage it, right? Like it is 100% the easiest, 100% the easiest. The problem that most people feel with monthly budgeting or monthly pay cycles is that it's like a feast or famine situation. You get a lot of money up front and you don't have much by the end of the month. And then you get that next paycheck to hit. And then you got a lot, and then you got a little. And it's this constant like squeeze, like contract and expand type of thing, right? So key here is make a priority of paying all of your fixed expenses first. Here is the one where I would tell you, if you can front load all of your bills, that will make things perfect for you. If you are the rare exception that you get paid monthly, I would tell you front load all of your bills, or put all of your bills on. No, I would tell you front load the bills. You could do them on the back end if you're super good at budgeting. But I would tell you do the front load. Pay off all your essentials first. So set that up so that all of your fixed expenses are paid at the very beginning of the month as soon as you get paid. Because after that, you can kind of allocate yourself weekly amounts so that of like discretionary spending, so you don't blow it all at once and be left with nothing by the end of the month, right? Keep that buffer to prevent you from running out of money mid-month. But pay all of your expenses up front, right there in the middle. Set you like, okay, I know I've got $2,000 to live on the next 3 weeks. So let me divide that out and see how much I'm going to live on for the next 3 weeks or something like that. But that is the easiest to budget for monthly folks. Okay. That is the easiest. Now, the next one is probably the hardest. Mission-based or irregular income. Income is unpredictable, and it's easy to under budget or overspend in those high earning months. Okay, I got it. Now, here's the key. There's a single thing that you must do if you're commission-based or you get like an irregular paycheck. Okay, you've got to budget using a monthly income. Get out of the mindset that I'm going to get a huge paycheck when my commissions hit in 3 months. And then in 3 months, kind of spend it all up and kind of life go by the wayside. In high income months, you need to funnel that money into a savings account, like a high yield savings account, and you need to withdraw a salary. If your commissions start to go up, so does your salary, right? If your account is growing faster than it was 6 months ago, you can start drawing out more money. However, the key to commission-based or regular income is to create a model where you are paying yourself your own salary. That's right. Your commission is not your salary. Your bonus is not your salary. You need to create a model where you say, I get paid on average $12,000 every 3 months total in commissions. I now have a $4,000 salary, right? That's what you got. That's what you got. If all of a sudden your average every 3 months goes up to $15,000, well, now you have a $5,000 salary, right? So the key for my irregular folks is to figure out what your salary is, right? Figure out the last 3 months and divide it by 3. And every 3 months, maybe reevaluate. Are you drawing out too much or drawing out too little? But funnel those commission checks into that high yield savings and withdraw it into a checking to use every month. That's how you can effectively live on commission-based or irregular income. Now, some people are paid daily, meaning that they get paid for their job. At the end of the day, they walk home with money, sometimes cash in hand, depending on if it's like a tip-based job or something of that nature. The key for those people is to do something similar to like the irregular income or commission base. Funnel it into a high yield savings and pay yourself a salary. Since it won't be lump sum, probably putting yourself on some type of like bi-weekly salary or something of that nature. Put as much as you can in that high yield savings and draw out every 2 weeks, depending on what your average is. Just a good little strategy, but you've got to pay yourself a salary if you're pulling in money daily. So it's kind of like playing Tetris in a way with your paycheck. You've got to kind of fit all those pieces together, and hopefully one of these strategies will work for you. The trick is the game doesn't change, the timing does, right? You're still on a monthly budget. You still got to figure out how much am I going to earn this month? How much am I going to spend this month? And how do I make it stretch, right? How do I make it stretch? So one thing that, I kind of talked about a little bit in a way, but what I want you to think about is like if income smoothing is kind of like the easiest way to do it. So pay yourself a consistent salary regardless is something that people will talk about when you think of like income smoothing. You put all of your money into a high yield, and this could be if you're paid bi-weekly or weekly or monthly or whatever. Probably not monthly, but bi-weekly, weekly, daily, irregular. Any of those folks, 1st and 15th, you could do this. Wouldn't really advise it so much for you, but you could. But you put all your money into a high yield savings, and you literally pay yourself a salary, right? And you let the high yield savings continue to grow and grow and grow and grow, and you just withdraw a salary each month. It is a strategy. It helps build buffer. It helps add additional interest on the money that you're earning. It creates consistent income, right? Like you could turn a bi-weekly paycheck into a monthly paycheck just by simply funneling all that in there, and then all of a sudden just drawing out a monthly paycheck. You can change your pay cycle, and you can look at it as like income smoothing, right? But think of it like you're taking all of your money and your income, you're funneling it into a savings account, and every month you just withdraw what you need. It's almost like living on retirement money, right? So just another way you can do it, regardless of how you're paid. It's just a way to think about it. So, just because your paycheck doesn't play nice every month doesn't mean your finances can't. There's a way to manage your money. You're in control here. Don't let your money control you. So, hopefully you got something out of this episode. Whether your money, your income is like clockwork or it's like a mystery package, right? Like it doesn't matter. These budgeting strategies, these different ways to manage those pay cycles will help you take control of your finances. Remember, managing a regular income, it doesn't mean living in chaos. Like a strong budget, an emergency fund, and some creativity with your bills, your due dates, your paychecks, all those things. Do you do like some type of income smoothing type of deal or not? Can all help. So don't let your paycheck schedule be the reason you don't budget. Okay. Don't let it happen. The key is consistency in your plan, not in your paycheck. So get started today and take charge of your financial future. Hopefully you got some out of this episode. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you do want to, get a little help, just getting kicked off, getting started, happy to do that. We can sit down one session together, plan this whole thing out, and let you kind of see how you can manage your income and regardless of your pay cycle. Get started today. Just head over to thefinancialmirror.org and hit book now in the middle of the screen and schedule a free consultation. We'll see if it's right for you, or book a single session. We'll sit down and just go over pay cycles and get you all set up and ready to go and how to tackle and master your money. So just another thing you can do. Hopefully you got some out of this episode. Don't forget to share it with others, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed everything and you're continuing to learn from the Financial Mirror. So truly appreciate you tuning in. And until next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.